Florida still not in?
Obama has been reelected, 303 electoral votes right now, pulled ahead in the popular vote as well, ahead of Mitt Romney, although they're still tied at 49 to 49. The big state we're waiting for, the state of Florida, and that is still too close to call right now. Let's see what we have here as we pull up the map. 50 for President Obama, 49 for Governor Romney. He's leading by just a little bit there with 92% of the vote in. And as we wait for the
Obama
president,
just finished getting head. He's about to time. He's going to sleep.
Decisive victory for the president, even though the popular
That's why it's wedding now.
A close win, but a convincing win.
He's going to record it. I'm going to show you tomorrow.
Electoral college win. And I think that the way the map unfolded tonight is exactly what they had conveyed to many people of how they thought it would. Their theory of the race, their theory of turnout, their theory of how the dynamics were. It unfolded in almost the exact way they thought.
And I have to say, Nicole Wallace, reading another email we just got from Emily Friedman, who covers the Romney campaign, and talking about the senior staffers in tears and shaking, unable to speak, it convinced me that they were convinced to some degree by what they were telling us, that they really believed they had a shot in these final days.
The beginning of September, when stories started to break about disarray in their campaign, I talked to some of the senior leaders of that campaign, and I said, things look pretty bad, don't they? They said, I still think we're probably going to win. And they never lost, I think, that belief system. But let me just say, there's a whole lot of red on that map. A whole lot of people in this country did vote for Mitt Romney, and Barack Obama would be foolish to ignore almost half the country that thought Mitt Romney would make a superb president, a better president than him, because elections are always a choice between two men. Neither one of these men really led a discussion about the future. No one tomorrow morning has any idea what Barack Obama has in store for us, because there was never a debate.
You serious?
Neither man really tried to win the future.
And Nicole, Barack Obama didn't compete in Indiana, Missouri, from my home state, Louisiana. They competed in those so-called battleground states. That's where the messaging
But Barack Obama is now the
the
president
office.
of Texas and Louisiana, too. That's my only point. They're holding up the
George Bush took office when he didn't.
Oh, get over it already. Please, you won tonight.
My point is that he won.
This lady's
It was a
hot,
very,
John
it was
Carl.
no, seriously. I mean, we're acting as if President Obama winning re-election with over 300 electoral votes. It's not a big thing.
You're just saying it's a divided country, and almost half the country voted for Mitt Romney.
We were divided 10 years ago. We're going to be divided 10 years from now, because the country is settled into this little path. And so we need a leader who can bring us together, and I think that leader is Barack Obama.
But Don, it's a huge victory. There's no question about it. I mean, look at that electoral count there. But what did the president campaign on in those battleground states?
Nothing.
This was a negative campaign. This was not.
It's like Seinfeld. It was a campaign about
nothing. This was an entirely different campaign than what we saw 4 years ago. It was a huge victory, but on the other hand,
he had 303. What did they do since he campaigned?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I believe was Andrew Jackson, the only other time, 1828, 1832. So there was, when he won in 2008, there was the opportunity to build kind of an enduring majority coalition. He had groups that were growing behind him, that minority population, upscale whites, young people. All of them basically stuck with him, but he lost even more ground among the rest of the white population. And so you are in a situation where Democrats clearly have a demographic upper hand, but the country is still very close.
But I do want to go back to Gary Langer on this when you bring that up. On the one hand, part of the reason that President Obama won by so much in 2008 is that he was elected on the heels of a massive economic crisis, a once-in-a-century economic crisis. And part of the reason that his numbers were held down this time around is that there's still so much economic discontent out there, and that shows up in the polling, Gary.
Yeah, that's right, George. I mean, Barack Obama had one big thing working against him in this election and three things working for him. Working against him, the economy. I mean, this is not the kind of economy in which an incumbent gets reelected, let's face it. So how did he turn that around? One, the fact that it's improving, however slowly. Two, the fact that Mitt Romney simply couldn't close the deal on the notion that he could do better. And third, the fact that Barack Obama followed George W. Bush, who still got the blame for the economy. Those enabled him to skirt past that iron gate of economic discontent that was threatening his second term.
So, Cokie, did he secure some kind of cultural change? Did he secure it for all time? No, I don't think so. I think the country is in a cultural change, as we've talked about all night, and that is an important thing to talk about. But he still has to convince people that he's got a program that he's going forward with, and we have to see what it is. One thing that I do think we should mention, though, is health care, because, of course, that was his signature achievement, or if you can think of it as a negative achievement, if that's your viewpoint, in his first term. And 59% of the people coming out of the polls said that we should repeal either some or all of it. Now, no, and that's not going to happen. It's not going to be repealed, and it will go into effect, and then people might decide they like it. We'll see.
And that gets into the question of what kind of a mandate the president is elected to move forward now. Let me bring that to Matthew Dutt. I would venture that at least one possibility is this is a mandate for his basic approach to the budget, one that includes both raising taxes on the wealthy and spending cuts.
I don't think he has a mandate of any kind. I think he has a mandate to stay in the White House because that's what he got. So he gets to keep his furniture there for 4 more years. I think he has to be the president he promised us he would be 4 years ago. And he promised us he would be the president that united the country, that brought us together. There was very divisive presidency at the end of President Bush's presidency. Many people voted for Barack Obama to unite the country, get past the divides. I think he needs to go back. Maybe he should go back and just say the speech he gave 4 years ago when he won and say, okay, this time I'm going to do it.
His inaugural address, where he promised an end to childish things, he won re-election. He went into his first legislative battle, the stimulus. He marched out and said, I won, we won, my way or the highway. So, the way he campaigned was a lot better than the way he governed.
There's two sides to that, Nicole. 60% of people who voted in the exit polls said raise taxes on people over $250,000 as part of a budget deal. Are Republicans, in the end, knowing that Barack Obama was re-elected, willing to do that, as we saw in '97 when the country sent back a Democratic president and a Republican Congress? They made a deal. Will 2013 be 1997, or can Republicans not accept a deal that includes what 60% of the voters said they were willing to do?
And let's not forget that Mitch McConnell, the minority leader in the Senate, his number one objective was to make President Obama a one-term, president. Now that President Obama has been re-elected to a second term, maybe he can just get over that and start working with the president so we can get in the Senate.
We have another bit of news right now. We're now able to project that Tammy Baldwin has become the next senator in the state of Wisconsin. Another hold for the Democrats, John Carl, and I believe the first openly gay senator ever elected.
Will be the first openly gay United States senator. And this is another seat that Republicans hope they can win. Tommy Thompson, the former 4-term governor of Wisconsin, running against her. Tammy Baldwin was there. Again, she will immediately take her place on the far left of the U.S. Senate with Elizabeth Warren.
This also means that we will have 19 women in the United States Senate. A new high, 19%, because she becomes the 18th in Hawaii. There are 2 women running against each other. So one of them will also be an additional woman in the Senate.
This Senate story tonight, Ron Braskin, is simply extraordinary.
Well, it's entirely possible, by the way, that Heidi Heitkamp could win in North Dakota. Right now, she's running ahead.
Yeah, from where we started, from 20, Democrats having to defend 23 seats, Republicans only 10, our Democrats to be in this position. But again, we're going to see the Senate divided almost exactly in half. In many ways, the country divided almost exactly in half. Can either side, does somebody give and agree to kind of build a working majority for change in a country that is this closely divided?
Again, worth pointing out, polls have closed in all 50 states. President Obama won 25 states and D.C. Governor Romney won 23 states. 2 states not projected, Florida and Alaska.
Really?
Numbers on the Senate right now, John Carl?
Florida is still?
The Democrats have a net gain of 2 seats, and there are 2 seats that Republicans really hope they're going to win. But look where they stand right now. I don't know if you guys can see my board here, but we're waiting for North Dakota, solidly Republican state, Democratic seat they're hoping to pick up. And right now, the Democrat, Heidi Heitkamp, has a narrow lead over Rick Berg, the Republican. And the other big state we're waiting for is Montana. Senator John Tester, Democrat, again, a Republican seat. Only 37% reporting, but Tester's got a big lead. It's possible that the Democrats could emerge with a net gain of 2 Senate seats, which is an extraordinary story.
Nobody a year ago would have predicted that. Not at all. That's a situation that we face with all of everybody said how this was going to unfold. A very vulnerable president of the United States. Republicans thought they were going to beat him. He wins a convincing victory tonight. A Senate they thought absolutely were going to take back. It was going to be done a year ago. They now may end up losing their seats in a House the Democrats thought they were going to pick up and Republicans keep.
And again, if you look at this crowd, a note from Gary
Yep.
Langer, who says that Hispanics showed up 10% of voters, first foray into double digits ever.
Even I'm not here because of his speech now. We're done.
71 at this point.
I'm done with this election long time ago.
71, yes, and that surpasses the 67% 2 years ago.
Even though unemployment among Hispanics has been in double digits every single month of his presidency, it's an incredible indictment of the Republican inability to reach out to a constituency that in many ways should be favorable.
And one of the things we saw, even though Nicole Wallace, we saw that when he went to Univision
See you, buddy.
with our colleague Jorge Ramos and was pressed quite on the immigration case, that real
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Next time, I'm sorry. Next time when you come with no election, I will talk to you a lot. Okay? I'm sorry next time. But I'm so happy. You come a good day, so.
Really pressed Obama in a way he hadn't been pressed before in immigration because he has
Okay, see you, buddy.
comprehensive immigration reform. In fact, I worked for the last American president who used the power